They're collecting this data. They see some things on the screen, but you don't get the report until months later when they take all that raw data and they give it to a geophysicist. And he, with this, with the software on his computer, he can analyze the data and pull out more information than what you can get just looking at a screen the day you're scanning. And that's what he did. So they had hired again, this is a guy who was not involved with our project. He's not looking for Noah's Ark. I know he was Jewish, but I don't know if he was a believer in the story or not. But he trains archaeologists. In fact, he did a 1-day training for this team. And because the one guy was a technician for GPR, he does GPR work, but because we had extra people helping him, and he was saying, well, for this soil, for this site in Turkey, here he did a 1-day training. So he like reinforced what the other guy knew, and then helped the other guys who were brand new at all this to understand, as being a helper, like what to do, what the settings should be on the GPR. And so he had already met the team. So we had paid for that service. But when they came back, they gave him this raw data. He was also based in Atlanta, Georgia. And he has a school where he trains archaeologists. He's an archaeologist plus a geophysicist. So he's like both worlds. And he trains archaeologists how to use GPR to find things. And so I still follow his YouTube channel, but he gave us a report. I want to say, the initial report was in November, like a month after we had come back from Turkey and Saudi. I remember we had a little conference at a friend's house, and we had like the people who had donated money and some of the local friends show up, and we had like 20 to 30 people in one house, and we did a presentation for them. And this archaeologist slash geophysicist, he gave us some new images to show the group, because he had found, and I don't know if he had, yeah, at that time he had the initial report done, and he had found on the uh, lower end of the boat, the right side, if you're looking up at the boat shape, so that would be your northwest side, near the rounded bottom. He had found in that valley area there right angles, a whole series of them. And that, for him, he said that would be the best place to dig if he was in charge. If he was he's an archaeologist. He said the data is showing that these right angles, this whole series of them, they're they start about 7 meters down. So that's like 20 feet down. And he also said it's just not a shallow feature. This is because you can go through the data. You can go 20, 7 meters down, 7.5 meters, 8 meters. And he said this is they call it is it called feature with depth, or structure with depth, something like that. So basically a structure they see, and it has depth to it, going further down, further deeper into the soil, which suggests that he was saying, suggests that it's man-made. Of course, you need to ground truth it and dig down to it, or core sample, see exactly what it is. But just with a radar, he's like, this is really exciting. Normally, you wouldn't see this as a natural object like this. And so that was the report. So this was after the Science Channel. This is not even in their TV show, because they had their own editing, they had their own deadlines, and so the Science Channel got their show out in early, I think it was March, that they premiered their show about that site. And so by then we also had this extra information from the geophysicists. So now we have two sites that were of interest. We have this one that's 9 meters, 9 feet down, 3 meters on the east side, that was showing parallel lines, and even some perpendicular ones. You can say right angle, and that was shallower, like 3 meters down. But then right across that central hump on the west side, with what this archaeologist found, we're seeing 7 meters down, 21 feet, this series of right angles that has depth to them, like it's like a wall or whatever, but it's a feature that has depth to it, and that he said is possibly man-made. And so that was like the greatest thing. Like, we don't know what we're going to get. You hire a random team, and then you know these people. You hire them. They come out to do a job. They collect the data. They could have just said, "Hey, we see nothing." Um, and he's okay. Well, we tried. Spent $25,000. It's not like we're forcing these guys to, like, they're not part of our team, saying they're not looking for Noah's Ark either. But it was great because we actually got good results. That shows there's something interesting down below that goes along with the theory that this is the decayed buried remains of Noah's Ark. That it's not just a random object with rubble and dirt just all mixed up below.